got it popping through the intake, so I'll let me go ahead and start it up. Here's the noise from the front.
Ever wonder which Ford engines to steer clear of? While Ford has a strong reputation for building dependable power plants, not every engine they've produced has been a home run. Some have been plagued by issues, leaving owners frustrated and reaching for their wallets more often than they'd like. So, buckle up as we dive into the 7 Ford engines that haven't exactly earned a spot in the Reliability Hall of Fame. One of these might even be making trouble under your hood right now. Let's kick things off with an engine that has earned a bit of a notorious reputation, the Ford 3.8-liter Essex V6. This engine was a staple in various Ford products throughout the 80s and 90s, from Mustangs and Tauruses to Windstars. While it wasn't a powerhouse, it was intended to be a solid everyday engine. Unfortunately, reality had other plans, and the 3.8-liter became known for some rather persistent problems. The 3.8-liter V6 put out a respectable 140 to 155 horsepower in its early days, increasing slightly over its production run. However, it's not the power figures that people remember, it's the head gasket failures. These engines had a tendency to develop internal coolant leaks, which could lead to overheating and significant damage if not caught early. It got to the point where replacing head gaskets became almost routine maintenance for some owners. Think about a young family relying on their minivan, only to be stranded on the side of the road with steam billowing from under the hood. Stories abound of 3.8-liter Essex engines giving up the ghost prematurely, leaving owners with hefty repair bills. Next on our list is the 5.4-liter Triton V8, an engine we actually praised for its overall reliability in our other video. However, it's important to acknowledge that the early iterations of this engine weren't without their problems, particularly the dreaded spark plug issue. Introduced in the mid-90s, the 5.4-liter Triton was meant to be a strong and capable V8 for Ford's trucks and SUVs, and eventually it became just that. But the initial years, let's just say they were a bit bumpy. The 5.4-liter Triton produced a decent amount of power and torque, making it suitable for hauling and towing. The problem wasn't the performance, it was the two-piece spark plug design in certain model years. These plugs had a nasty habit of seizing in the cylinder heads and breaking upon removal. Imagine trying to do a simple tune-up and ending up with a spark plug stuck deep inside your engine. Mechanics developed special tools and techniques to deal with this, but it was a frustrating, costly issue for many owners. While Ford eventually addressed the design flaw, the early 5.4-liter Tritons earned a reputation for being a headache when it came to spark plug changes. But how exactly did this spark plug design cause so much trouble? Was it just poor materials, or was there something else at play? Stay tuned to find out. The issue with the early 5.4-liter Triton spark plugs wasn't just about the materials. The two-piece design created a long, thin section prone to breaking. Furthermore, carbon buildup could fuse the plug to the cylinder head, making removal even more challenging. It was a perfect storm of design flaws and operating conditions that led to widespread frustration and the need for specialized extraction tools. This experience serves as a reminder that even seemingly small design choices can have a major impact on an engine's overall reliability and ease of maintenance. Now, here's a twist that might surprise you. Some of the engines on this list weren't entirely Ford's fault. Yep, you heard that right. While Ford engineers are responsible for their designs, sometimes external factors or supplier issues can contribute to an engine's unreliability. Think about it, even with the best intentions, if a key component from a supplier is faulty, it can negatively impact the entire engine. Case in point, the power shift transmission issues that plagued certain Ford models weren't solely an engine problem, but significantly impacted the overall driving experience and vehicle reliability. Consider the complexities of modern automotive manufacturing. Engines are made up of hundreds of components sourced from various suppliers. If even a small percentage of those parts are defective, it can lead to widespread problems. So while we're focusing on engine unreliability, it's important to remember that the bigger picture of automotive engineering and supply chains plays a crucial role in the dependability of any vehicle. Speaking of diesel engines, let's talk about the Ford 6.0-liter Power Stroke. Introduced in 2003 as a replacement for the beloved 7.3-liter, the 6.0-liter had big shoes to fill. Unfortunately, it became infamous for a litany of problems, earning it a spot on many engines to avoid lists. While it offered more power than its predecessor, the 6.0-liter's reliability issues overshadowed its performance gains. The 6.0-liter Power Stroke produced a hefty amount of horsepower and torque, making it capable for heavy-duty work. However, it was plagued by issues such as EGR cooler failures, head gasket problems, and injector failures. These weren't minor annoyances, they were significant problems that could leave owners stranded and facing substantial repair costs. The complex design and the introduction of new emissions controls seemed to contribute to the engine's downfall. Imagine a contractor relying on their Super Duty truck for their livelihood, only to have it sidelined by a blown head gasket or a faulty EGR cooler. Stories of repeat repairs and frustration with the 6.0-liter Power Stroke are common among Ford diesel enthusiasts. It's a stark contrast to the legendary reputation of the 7.3-liter it replaced. Many diesel fans consider it a low point in Ford's diesel engine history. Moving back to gasoline engines, let's discuss the 4.0-liter Cologne V6, specifically the early single overhead cam versions. While later iterations of this engine were more reliable, the initial SOHC variants found in Explorers and Rangers had a tendency towards timing chain issues. This engine was designed to offer a good balance of power and fuel economy for Ford's mid-sized trucks and SUVs. However, a critical design element proved to be its Achilles heel. The 4.0-liter SOHC produced a respectable amount of power for its size, but the early versions were known for timing chain guide wear and eventual failure. This could lead to serious engine damage if not addressed. The positioning of the rear timing chain cassette made repairs particularly labor-intensive and costly. The telltale sign was often a rattling noise, especially on startup, which many owners unfortunately ignored until it was too late. Think about a family using their Explorer for daily commutes and weekend adventures, only to be confronted with a worrying rattling sound from the engine. Many owners reported having to replace timing chain components prematurely, a repair that could easily run into thousands of dollars. While the 4.0-liter SOHC was eventually improved, the early versions earned a reputation for being susceptible to timing chain problems, leaving a mark on the engine's overall reliability score. Our next contenders, the 3.0-liter Duratec V6, specifically those equipped with an internal water pump. While the Duratec family of engines is generally regarded as reliable, certain versions of the 3.0-liter had a design that made water pump failure a significant concern. This engine was used in a variety of Ford vehicles, including the Taurus, Escape, and Fusion. Its aim was to provide smooth and efficient power, but the integrated water pump design presented a unique challenge. The 3.0-liter Duratec with the internal water pump had the pump located inside the engine's timing cover. This design made replacement a much more involved and expensive process compared to external water pumps. When the internal pump failed, it often required significant disassembly of the engine, including timing components, leading to higher labor costs. Furthermore, a failing internal water pump could leak coolant directly into the engine oil, potentially causing catastrophic engine damage if not detected quickly. Imagine a commuter relying on their Ford Fusion for their daily drive, only to face the prospect of a major engine repair due to a failing internal water pump. Many owners were caught off guard by the complexity and cost of this repair. While not every 3.0-liter Duratec suffered this fate, the potential for a costly internal water pump failure makes these specific versions less desirable in terms of long-term reliability. So, why would Ford design an engine with an internal water pump, knowing the potential for increased repair costs? Was there a specific benefit to this design? The decision to use an internal water pump often comes down to packaging and design considerations. Integrating the water pump can make the engine more compact and reduce the number of external hoses and connections. However, as the 3.0-liter Duratec demonstrates, this design choice can come with a trade-off in terms of serviceability and the potential for more complex and expensive repairs when the pump eventually fails. It's a balancing act between engineering efficiency and ease of maintenance. Now let's talk about a more modern engine, the early versions of the Ford 2.3-liter EcoBoost. While the EcoBoost family of engines has largely proven to be reliable and powerful, the initial 2.3-liter iterations found in vehicles like the early Focus RS and Mustang EcoBoost experienced some growing pains. This engine was designed to deliver the performance of a larger engine with the fuel efficiency of a smaller one, using turbocharging and direct injection. However, the early years saw some issues emerge. The 2.3-liter EcoBoost offered impressive horsepower and torque for its size. However, some early models experienced issues like cylinder head cracking and excessive oil consumption. These weren't isolated incidents, and they led to some concern among owners who would embrace Ford's modern turbocharged technology. The complexity of the turbocharged system, while delivering performance benefits, also introduced more potential points of failure. Picture a performance enthusiast who excitedly purchased a new Focus RS, only to encounter issues with a cracked cylinder head or constantly needing to top up the engine oil. While Ford addressed many of these issues in later revisions, the early 2.3-liter EcoBoost engines face some scrutiny regarding their long-term durability. It highlights the fact that even advanced and innovative engines can have initial teething problems before reaching their full reliability potential. Finally, topping our list of least reliable Ford engines is the 6.4-liter Power Stroke diesel. Introduced in 2008 as a replacement for the troublesome 6.0-liter, the 6.4-liter aimed to right the wrongs of its predecessor. Unfortunately, it inherited some of the 6.0-liter's problems and introduced a few new ones of its own, solidifying its place as perhaps the most problematic of the Power Stroke diesel engines. The 6.4-liter Power Stroke offered significant power and torque, but it was plagued by issues such as fuel injector failures, high-pressure oil pump problems, and EGR cooler failures, much like the 6.0-liter. The complex twin turbocharger system, while offering enhanced performance, also added to the potential for problems. Many owners faced expensive and recurring repairs, leading to widespread dissatisfaction. Imagine a rancher who relies on their Super Duty truck for hauling livestock and equipment, constantly facing breakdowns and expensive repairs due to issues with the 6.4-liter Power Stroke. Stories of owners struggling with persistent problems and hefty repair bills are common within the diesel truck community.
F250 6.4. It's got a popping through the intake, so I'll let me go ahead and start it up. Here's the noise from the front.
Despite its power output, the 6.4-liter Power Stroke is often cited as an engine to avoid due to its significant reliability woes. And there you have it, the 7 Ford engines that haven't exactly been paragons of reliability. From head gasket woes to spark plug nightmares and diesel dilemmas, these engines have given Ford owners their fair share of headaches. So, which of these problematic power plants has caused you the most grief? Let us know in the comments below, and if you found this cautionary tale helpful, hit that like button, subscribe for more gearhead insights, and share this video with anyone considering a Ford from these eras. Until next time, keep those wrenches handy, your expectations realistic.